Hey guys, how's it going? Thad here with Shoemaker Guitar Works, and what do we have on the bench today? We've got the 1963 Gibson, and I figured out it's a Mastercraft banjo here, 5-string banjo. And listen to this thing, picking up my voice. That's how resonant it is. Super cool banjo, and finally got the right size binding for it. The first package I ordered was really thin and would have taken like 3 layers to make a triple layer binding, and that's not what we want here. So anyway, going to get this on there. I've got the 2 pieces here cut to rough size. Back's a little longer, of course, because you don't have the heel. And I've got my Bob Smith Industries extra thick maxi cure super glue and my binding tape here. So we're going to go ahead and get this, and I will kind of bring you along with the process as best as I can. I think I'll do the back first. Maybe I'll do the front first because it's split, and we'll make it easier. So I'm gonna get that cut to exact length, and I will bring you back. All right, so as you can see, I've got it fit to the right size. So now it's going to be a matter of just putting some super glue on the surface, and then using some binding tape. And I'm only gonna put, you know, some of the thick here, some of the thick here, some of the thick here, just to hold it. And then I will use the thin to wick into it, and that should be good to go. So that's how we're gonna go about doing this. And I'm gonna, like I say, I'm gonna take you along for the journey. Okay, so I got a strip here about 1.5 to 2 inches long of super glue, and I'm going to go ahead and put the binding on and put some tape on it, and then we'll just continue doing that all the way around, and I will bring you back. All right, so we've got glue on here, between here, between here, between here and here, here and here, over here on this side, and then up in here, and on the side here. So as soon as this dries, I will wick in some ultra thin super glue, and we will go ahead and call the top piece done. I'll have to do a tiny bit of scraping, but not much. And other than that, the top is finished. So after this dries, we'll move on to the back and do the back. And yeah, that's essentially binding. So anyway, all right, so I've got my Bob Smith Industries Instacure super thin cyanoacrylate, however you say that, CA glue. Now I'm just gonna dab it on here, let it wick itself in. Sorry, concentrating on what I'm doing and not on the camera. Don't take much, and it penetrates, and you can actually watch it penetrate. And then I'll just take a, not this rag, but I'll take a rag and go across the top and get any excess off, and we'll be good to go. All right, so after this dries, we'll have a tiny bit of scraping left to do, just kind of smooth out the edges, because binding all has a sharp edge on it when it's cut. And yeah, should be good to go. And then we'll move on to the back. The things I wanted to show is one of the tools that I use for a lot of different things here. But this is the squayer from Tim Sway of New Perspectives Music. He's got 2 YouTube channels. One's called Tim Sway, and the other one is called New Perspectives Music. And he created these, I don't know, 5-6 years ago when I first really started getting into this. And I've been using it ever since. It comes in handy for a lot of things, like for cutting this binding. I will, to square off the ends, I will use this area right here, make sure the binding is flat across here and got a square edge, and then I can get my my edge square. So anyway, you can use it as a scraper, it's a protractor, it's a ruler, it's a lot of things. It's also a square. So anyway, go check out New Perspective Musics. This is not a paid anything, just something that I wanted to show that I use quite a bit. Go check out his other channel, Tim Sway, and yeah, they're both awesome, and you might learn something. He makes instruments out of basically garbage, and they're just awesome. So anyway, all right. So while the binding glue is setting up, which I had checked it, most of it is, but actually the thick stuff is not quite set up. The thin stuff sets up fairly fast, but the thick stuff is stronger. That's why I use it. So anyway, while I'm waiting on that, I'm gonna do things like take some of my semi-chrome polish and my polishing rag here, which is actually an old sock, and it works beautifully for this. The texture on the sock works really, really well for polishing metal, but I'm going to do things like polish this armrest, and I can't say enough good about semi-chrome polish. It is the best metal polish I have ever used. I mean, I take dull, nasty frets and give them a chrome mirror shine, literally. So, all right, we've worked that in there pretty well, and it don't take much actually. Let me grab the cleaning rag here, which is another piece of old sock. And much shinier. I mean, it's scratched up, and you're not gonna take those scratches out, but it is much, much shinier. So like, look at all the corrosion on the tailpiece there. And this is just roughly doing it. I'm not getting in there a lot until I change the strings. But if you watch, this is nickel plating instead of chrome, and it really shines it up really well. Now you can actually read the Gibson on there and everything. So anyway, guys, just thought I'd throw that in there. All right, so I got the tape off the front except for in the corners. So I want to make sure those corners get on there very well. And so I'm gonna leave that on there to dry. But anyway, so now it's time to do the back, and I have to trim this to where the two pieces are going to meet. So what I'm going to do is mark that with a pencil, and then I will cut it with using the Tim Sway square and hobby knife, and get that cut, and then we can glue this on. All right, so I got my piece of binding cut, and basically I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna run beads of super glue all the way around, and there's gonna be a little tiny gap here in the middle, and then I'll take a piece of scrap binding and fill that little tiny gap in. I'll actually probably make a slurry, a dust slurry with some acetone and kind of melt it in there. And that's how we will do that after the binding is all dry. But yeah, so I will bring you back once we've got the binding in place. All right, so as you can see, got the little gap I was talking about. And what I'll do is I'll take another piece of that binding and kind of fill that in there, and that will take care of that. But she's all bound, so now it's a matter of just letting it all dry, scrape the edges, whatever, and yeah. And just thought I'd throw in here, there's the little wedge that I put in there to make up the gap. And I do this on every binding job, and you can barely see it. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Like I say, this is a 1963. There's the serial number right there, but 63 Gibson Mastertone Banjo, and we did the binding on it. So anyway, have a great day. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. You need any kind of guitar work, just let us know. shoemakerguitarworks.com, send us a message.